How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. What are
Yeah.
we in Spain? You're about 4 o'clock? You're 2 hours ahead?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, hour ahead at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You know,
So it's
shouldn't you be on a siesta?
I'm not that Spanish yet. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you haven't gone totally native.
Exactly. No, and I think I will never. It's really an odd habit. It's
Yeah.
I've been trying to buy some stuff here at 2, 3, and it's just everything's just closed.
I think, but yeah, siesta's got to be precursed by a long lunch, a couple of glasses of wine. The
Yeah.
concept's good. One day, the concept's good.
Yeah, exactly. When we're done with the business, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Shall I start? Shall I do an introduction of myself, Philip? Shall I go
Yeah.
first?
Sounds like a good plan, Paul.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, my name's Paul Miles. I lead the team here at Big Red Recruitment. I've been in IT recruitment almost my entire career. I left university. I did a degree in surveying. Didn't want to be a surveyor, and a friend of mine worked in recruitment and said, "Hey, think you'd be good at this? Come and have a try." And I've been in the industry ever since. So that's 97 was when I started. I spent 5 years working for the same company, and then actually my boss left. I stayed there for about another year, and they came and poached me, and I went to work for them when Big Red was a startup. That was back in 2001, and I've been here ever since. So I sort of started as a junior member of the team, and it's been a good journey because I've worked with what I'd call my friends,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, they've wanted to take more of a step back, which has allowed me some room to grow. And then that followed through right through to 2020, when myself and a couple of other directors here did a management buyout. And yeah, the original founding owners, they're still involved. They're still sort of there as a support. John's our chairman.
Nice.
But it's a new iteration of Big Red. So since 2020, there's myself and two other directors who have been leading it. But yeah, essentially we're an IT digital and change recruitment company. I think if you cut us open, we're a good old fashioned IT recruitment company. But over
Okay.
the last 5 or 7 years, we've been doing more change and transformation stuff, program and project management and PMO, type recruitment, which is sort of functions, I guess, that used to exist in IT departments that have come
Yeah.
out and taken on their own entity. So, but yeah, I'm a good old fashioned IT recruiter at heart, which is mad because I did definitely not from a technical background, not particularly technically competent, technically minded, but over the
Mm.
years, I've absolutely loved working in technology. It's fascinating. It's really
It
cool.
is fascinating. I think they talk about that with the people selling cars, though. The ones that are good at cars and understands, what's under the hood is usually not the best salesman for cars. So
Yeah,
maybe that's correct
yeah,
as well for IT recruitment.
yeah. I've described it. The IT industry. I've described my knowledge is like the opposite of. Well, no, it's like an iceberg. It's like I know a little bit,
Yeah.
but there's loads more
Yeah.
underneath. It's like I can almost talk to any technologist for about 15 minutes before they're going to lose me because then I've
Yeah.
run out of knowledge. I've got knowledge on lots of different technical subjects, but it's about 15 minutes before I run out of. I'm out of information now. But it's a good industry to be in. It's been changing.
Sounds like an interesting time for you as well. If you bought out the earlier owners, so you're basically in some kind of startup scale up mode now with the
Yeah, it felt
revamping the
that
business.
the post MBO bit felt really weird because like the founder sort of exited stage left and it was ours. But it was the same business. Nothing
Yeah.
had changed. So we actually sat down and went, right, okay, well, let's feels like we want to put our own stamp on it and make it our thing rather than just continue doing the same thing. So we did a rebrand, we did a new website, we did a new CRM,
Nice.
we did an office refresh. So we just sort of spent 6 months or so putting our stamp on it,
Yeah.
which I think helped make it feel ours rather than it just a complete continuation, which was good.
Makes sense. Makes
What
sense.
about your background, Philippe? What brought you to here?
All right, so my name is Filip Nilsson. I'm the co-founder of Workwide, where basically my responsibilities are, all things commercial, so all the fun stuff, as well as the financial aspects of the company, which is less fun. But basically, Workwide, we are a talent acquisition technology and services company, and we're working in the multilingual talent and relocation niche. So we have a little bit of a different take, I think, than most TRM members. We basically run platforms for job seekers that are looking for international job opportunities. And then we also have basically an internal team of recruitment, relocation experts that are offering, recruitment services to our clients. So we started in Sweden with basically a platform for Swedes that is looking for jobs abroad, and then employers around the globe outside of Sweden that is looking for Swedish speakers. This was back in 2015. And since then, we've grown a concept. So we've launched platforms in Germany, in France, the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Italy, and we're in the process of launching also in Finland and Spain.
Wow.
And each of these platforms, they're basically completely niche for candidates that are speaking that language, looking for jobs abroad, and or employers looking to hire that language talent abroad. We basically first ran the business with a kind of job board business model. We're selling, job adverts and recruitment marketing initiatives. But since a couple of years back, we also introduced recruitment services.
Yeah.
And we're still offering both options, but the business model that we're focused on now is basically the recruitment services. And a lot of our efforts goes into technology, product development on the platforms, which in turn, our recruitment services team leverages to have kind of a strong inflow of candidates to our different clients.
That's really interesting because you're arriving in the traditional recruitment market actually with a real strong USP. Is it's our platform,
Exactly.
Yeah, we're known in this world.
Yes. So we have direct access to the talent pool that we're hiring to our clients for.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I would imagine a powerful sell.
Definitely, it works.
Yeah. So you say you started in Sweden. What are the hot markets? What are the markets where what are the labor movements?
Yeah, so I mean, we focus mainly towards southern European destinations, mainly because of the incitaments that are there. So if a Swede wants to relocate and move abroad, or German wants to relocate and move abroad, they tend to want to go to something that's sunny. So we have a very high inflow of candidates to the southern European markets. It tends to be volume recruitment. So we work with shared service centers, BPOs, the iGaming companies on Malta, and it tends to be entry positions, customer service, entry tech support, marketing, sales, etc.
Yeah, interesting. And what prompted the move into more to lean into recruitment as the future strategy? Is that financial decision, or is it just become more competitive as a job board? What was motivating that?
That's a good question. So we looked at the model that we're having, which was a traditional job board model, and we were looking into kind of creating a performance-based model to get paid for the value that we bring. So we looked at obviously how Indeed are doing things, the pay-per-click model, etc. But we felt that that's a little bit skewed because our candidates are motivated to go abroad. They're more worth than maybe if you're advertising on Indeed, etc. So we ended up basically looking at the recruitment services model, and we took the decision to move into that field for that reason. To get paid for the value that we bring to the clients. Because it was a little bit skewed. I mean, some advertisers, they're hiring, 10 people from an ad and they're paying us a couple of €100. And then, some advertisers don't hire anyone from their ad. So, we wanted to get paid for the value that we bring.
Yeah. And can the customer still buy either level of service, or does it all come as one? Yeah. At the moment, it's either or both.
Yeah, exactly. So we have some that are buying just job adverts and recruitment marketing. Some are recruitment services clients, and then we have a few that is a hybrid, usually the big ones.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Should we dive into some of these questions that we've been set as
Let's do so.
as homework? So that's the first one. What are some of the key changes you've seen across the world of recruitment over the last 12 to 18 months? Do you want to go first, or should I go first? How do you want it?
I can go first. I mean, AI, obviously. I think a very interesting one for us there was just ChatGPT. So, I mean, if you look at how we do things, we work mainly with incoming candidates, right? We built a machinery, a leads generator, generating incoming flow of candidates. And one of the things that our recruiters used to do was to write job adverts. But they aren't experts on that. They're not content writers or copywriters, right? So ChatGPT, we don't write job adverts anymore. ChatGPT does that for us, obviously, and I think that's probably how most people are doing it. But especially in our business, given that we leverage the platforms, we advertise there to get incoming. I think that's been a key change for us and in general for the recruitment industry.
Have you seen an uptick in response rates?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also divided it now. So we have a couple of people in the recruitment services team that are managing the creation of the content for everyone. Earlier on, everyone was doing a little bit of everything, but now we've divided it. So for those recruiters, they also go through training, they read books about content, etc. Because even though ChatGPT is good, you need to also know how to prompt ChatGPT to do what you want it, right?
Yeah. And if I'm honest, my marketing manager uses it, but as the consultants aren't using it. Some are using it and some aren't. But the instances I've seen is actually that you can get it to produce the content, but actually the last 5% is the bit that you're putting your little bit of color over the top of it.
Exactly.
Is the bit that makes it personalized and makes it feel you'll get your tone into it.
Exactly. And I think, I mean, the purpose of any ad is to sell something, right? So if you talk about job adverts, it should be someone that understands marketing.
Yeah.
So that's why we've divided it, and we're they're doing training for that, and they're reading books, content, and so on to become experts on the subject, so that they can also see those and add those extra 5%.
Yeah, that's interesting. We've bought Sourcewell as a tool doing automated email campaigns for us, but so we've got 6 consultants at the moment using it, and they've had really varying degrees of success. I mean, they're all roughly doing the same thing.
Interesting.
But the 2 people who have had the most success have probably worked most closely with our marketing manager to get the messaging right. So I think you're absolutely right. It's not naturally a salesperson's skill set to write great content. So it's interesting. Yeah.
It's that forever-ending question, right? Should we be working on our weaknesses or do more of what we're good at and kind of honing those skills?
Yeah. So key changes that I've seen over the last 12 to 18 months, I guess, sort of coming away from the tech advancements and just talking more generally about the market, we've seen a real change in the market in the last 9 months. It was almost like it was boom time last year and the year before, but we didn't really realize it. And this year feels much more like 2019, 2018. And the real thing that we've been doing this year is almost retraining our team to actually to sell and deliver and keep their pipeline full of opportunity. We'd become a little bit overconfident, a little bit lazy in terms of the business development side. So we've sort of spent 9 months rebuilding our sales engine, engaging in some clever tech likes of Sourcewell and what have you. So it's really interesting. One of the absolute basic things that we saw was totally different. Like 2019, you wanted to make a sales call, you could call the reception and go through the reception and go and call someone at their desk. And now if you haven't got their mobile number, it's like forget the phone. It's that is so stark. It's like nobody in our business will make a sales call unless they've got a mobile number now, and that's like totally alien to how we thought in 2019.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I guess the landscape's changed, right? During those buzzing years, it was basically working more reactive to opportunities versus proactive that is needed in today's landscape.
Yeah, I think we were probably in a stark, like, because we've had the business for a long time, we've got lots of loyal clients that just didn't do as much in 2020. We had some challenges in our team, so the team shrunk, like, and we were rebuilding the team. So it was almost like we'd got a smaller team, and we were running to keep up with the demand. The phone was ringing, emails would come in saying, "Can we get one of these? Can we get 5 of these?" So it felt very different. It felt like we were running hard to service the people who knew us and liked what we did.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, well, that group of people are still around, but they're just not doing things in as much volume. So it's back to normal.
Yeah, makes sense. We had the same, and we have some technology clients in Ireland mainly, and I mean they're all on hiring freeze at the moment. So even still today, right? So the beginning of the year, that part of the business just kind of died, right? So it's been quiet.
What's been the better areas for you? Are there industries that you've seen? Because I guess that volume recruitment, you're going across lots of different banking, online retail, all sorts of different sectors.
So nearshoring, so the BPOs, the business process outsourcing companies, so they tend to go well in recession, right? Because all the big companies they're looking to cut costs, etc. So they're offshoring or nearshoring. They're moving functions from, let's say, more expensive locations like the Nordic countries and Germany to cheaper places such as Southern Europe or Central and Eastern Europe. So we definitely see our BPO clients have a big need at the moment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool. And what about the future? What do you think? What are the challenges for you, or what are the opportunities for your business?
So AI again, I think that's both an opportunity, but also somewhat of a threat. So if you look at our business, definitely opportunities to integrate different AI tools within the business and leverage that technology.
Yeah.
But that's also true for our clients, right? So if you look at, I talked about BPOs growing, they tend to do quite transactional things, such as picking up the phone or answering an email or chat, customer support, etc. So when is AI going to be ready to do that, and what's that going to mean for the BPOs and in turn for us?
Yeah, that's interesting because the positive of AI could become a threat to the business as
basically.
We've what another thing we've seen happen, and I think we'll continue to see happen, is actually as well our clients are leaning towards us when they need more senior hires or more niche hires. We used to do a fair bit of sort of graduate recruitment, or what I'd call lower level 20 to 30k recruitment in more volume, and they're definitely doing more of that directly. Like they've got the technology to get to that type of candidate reasonably easily. So I think we've seen a little bit of what you're describing, in that actually our market has shifted a bit further up the food chain, a bit more into some niche technology areas.
That's what we're seeing as well, and expecting really is going to happen in our markets as well. So threat and opportunity at the same time, right? As long as we're lean and jump on the train in the right timing, we'll be fine.
We've been thinking about new markets and doing different things, sort of thinking ahead. And I know a lot of the guys at TRN have been talking about the US. I was with somebody yesterday who's launched a tech recruitment business in the US, and he's so excited about that opportunity. He sees it as a really exciting market for UK-based recruiters to try and break into. So I don't know. Just in the last 24 hours, we've got lots of things that we're trying at the moment in the UK. So I don't know if I'll be trying to just take on too much at the same time, but I'm definitely interested in the next 12 to 18 months to start looking broader than broader than the UK. And the US seems to be a good opportunity for UK recruiters right now. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think they're a little bit behind, and you know, the UK market is obviously quite saturated as well. So, and then obviously both countries native
and
speakers.
he was saying that it really suits the contract market. Like at the moment, our business is lean slightly more permanent than contract. And he was saying that actually the US market, because the labor laws around firing and hiring, like there's less control, less protection.
Yeah.
So there's less incentive for people to be a permanent employee, and lots more people do work in the especially in the tech market, in the contract market. So, and he was saying, there's a real opportunity for people to go out there and build strong contract businesses. So
interesting.
Maybe over the next 12 months, we'll have a little look at that.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we dive into these other questions?
Sounds good.
So what do we have first? We had so an old classic. Do recruiters actually enjoy new business development? I guess you might have an interesting take on this, because you didn't start as a new business development. Would have been a very different thing, I guess, when you were a job board as to what it is as a recruitment company. Is that fair to say? Or
I think it's fair to say. I think we use
more of a self-service. Is the job board more of a self-service style of sell, or were you on the phone selling?
We were on the phone. So I mean, the sales process that we have is pretty similar, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, but I think this in general is quite an interesting topic. So we run a 180-degree model. So we have a sales team that is fully focused on acquiring, new business, and a recruitment team that takes care of the candidate delivery. I guess that's also inherited from the job board side of things. It was natural for us to build it like that. But also my take on it is that they should be separated roles. I think each role has their own requirements, and as such, it's kind of different people that should do the job. They're both sales roles, but one sells to organizations and one sells to people or business to consumer. And I think it kind of requires different skills and knowledges, especially if we're talking about enterprise clients, which is typically who we sell to. So, in your sales cycle and process, you have to be able to manage, not only hiring manager and a person, but also or recruitment department, but also, let's say, procurement, legal department, finance departments. So there's a lot of complexity in these sales processes that kind of requires a lot from the person selling. So you're managing different departments, stakeholders. So for me, if you're working as a recruiter, you can basically hone those skills and keep it into that lane kind of.
I think it's definitely two different types of skill sets, and almost two sides of the brain. It's like, actually, selling's quite a creative thing. I've always thought it's about, for me, it's about identifying opportunity, joining the dots, thinking, oh, that industry, that type of company, what's my story? I think it's a creative thinking type role. You're sort of always on. Whereas the candidate side, I think, is much more analytical. It's much more, I understand the company, I understand the client. Is that a good match? I'm reading and analyzing CV, and the creative and analytical sides of the brain are quite different. I think
I agree.
You're absolutely right. It's we haven't gone for the 180 or 360 model. We actually split our commission structure into 4 parts. So we call it a new business part, an account management part, a project management part, and a resourcer part. So the new business person is just the person who opens the door, the person who books an original meeting with that customer to go and talk about what they want. The account manager owns the relationship ongoing. They've got to retain it, they've got to grow it. The project manager is the person who takes the brief from the client, maybe interviews the candidates, manages the interview process, the offer process, makes sure that particular recruitment campaign is well managed and well planned. And then the resourcer is the person who goes and finds the candidate and just brings the candidate into the recruitment process. And we've got scenarios where that's all one person, and we've got scenarios where somebody's just doing the resourcer and other people are doing other parts. So we may have over-engineered it and overcomplicated it, but we've done it like that forever.
Yeah.
And then we've sort of given people the choice as to where they want to manage, put their skill sets, where they want to focus. And we've got some people here who really like the idea of being 360, and we've got other people who say, actually, I much prefer the candidate side, and that's where they focus. So we're sort of trying to give people options, but the challenge that comes with that, and I guess it's the same in your business with the 180 model, is you constantly got to get your levels right. Like, are we selling enough to keep the people busy?
Yeah.
If we haven't got enough business in, what do we do with the deliverers?
Yeah,
do we make them sell, or do we build candidate pipelines? That's not today revenue. Is that a good? So I think that's the challenge for us, is that if we're going to give people different career paths, and it's just trying to get the balance right.
Yeah, and I think also from an acquisition perspective, for us at least, it's much easier to find talent to our recruitment team, but not for the sales team. That's a complete other ballgame. So yeah, balancing that as well has been somewhat tricky.
Yeah, we could definitely, if we needed to turn the tap of recruiters on tomorrow, we could do that far quicker than we could turning a tap of salespeople on. And I think it's easier to train a recruiter than it is to train from scratch the salesperson.
I think it's also one of those things. I mean, I believe a lot in self-education, and I believe in becoming an expert on kind of fewer subjects rather than good at several. And it's easier to become, say, a great recruiter or a great salesman if you get to focus all your energy on that, consuming educational content about recruitment compared to dividing your attention with recruitment and, let's say, B2B sales.
Interestingly enough, the person I was talking to yesterday, who's started in the US market, they were having a conversation about the commission structure for the US market, and the guy in the US was very much saying that the commission structure should be heavily weighted towards the salesperson. So our commission structure is pretty evenly divided across all of those areas I mentioned, those 4 parts. Whereas the conversation we were debating is that actually the salesperson felt like it should be a near a 70-30 split. Which is it's interesting. I guess if you did that, you're gonna turn the sales tap up and maybe higher, maybe attract different types of people into that type of role. But the counter argument is then, okay, if you paid less commission on the delivery side, are you then going to reduce the quality or capability of your delivery team? Both sides need to work, don't they? Well,
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's one of those things again with balance, right? We do it similar. We have it a little bit heavier on the sales side. But I think personally, having worked in sales for 14 years, I think it's a tougher job.
Yeah, I think I can see why you'd say that. I think it depends on what scenario you're in. There's definitely times where our delivery team. So one of our other questions is talking about retained and contingent. Like, all of our assignments are exclusive. So they're essentially retained. So the pressure to deliver our delivery guys on, like, if we don't deliver, like, that client's going to go somewhere else because they've put all of their eggs into one basket. So our delivery guys have to be really, really good. And that brings a pressure. It brings a pressure because the salesperson is going, how's that project going? Like, because they don't earn their commission until that project's delivered. And it brings we've got to retain the client. We've got to produce excellence in service. So that brings a pressure on our delivery team.
That makes sense, and I can see that in different verticals or niches, it's going to be different, right? So if you're in markets. IT, so that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. I think we covered that one. Anything else on the new business question you want to cover?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So the next one we've been given is marketing just a load of old fluff and a distraction to recruiters, or is it business critical?
Sorry, Paul.
You all right?
Yeah, sorry, I have some technical problems here. Just 1 second.
Yeah, no
Need
worries.
to put the charger on my headset. 1 second.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. I'll do the question again. Is marketing just a load of old fluff and a distraction to recruiters, or is it business critical? I guess starting in a business, an online job board type business, marketing pretty blooming important in the foundation of your business anyway.
Yeah.
Still as important today?
Absolutely crucial for us. Absolutely. So I think it goes back to, again, like it depends on the niche you're operating in, or kind of what recruitment company you are, how you built your model. A search firm should probably not focus too much on marketing. And I think also obviously size of the business is also another variable. But for us, it's absolutely crucial. I mean, we built our whole recruitment model on incoming leads. We own and operate a direct line to the audience, which is our own platform. So, I mean, if you look at it, we actually don't even do sourcing in the traditional way. Our recruiters doesn't even have like paid LinkedIn licenses.
Right.
So essentially, like our platforms and marketing initiative acts as the sourcing team of a traditional agency.
Yeah. Going back to your point about using ChatGPT to write adverts, hugely important. That content's really bloody good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think, to answer the question though, like I think it is a distraction, and I don't think on face value it's effective that recruiters do the marketing. They are recruiters. They're not marketeers.
Yeah.
They're not experts, so they should probably not be doing it. Like personal branding, thought leadership on LinkedIn, that's another thing. That's for sure worthwhile. But talent acquisition through marketing, that should probably be done by a marketeer.
Yeah. So we've really been around the houses with marketing, and because we're, I guess in our DNA, we're a sales organization. We're a recruitment company, but we're a sales organization. So almost every fiber of my body goes like ROI. Someone draw a line from me from a pound note to something we did in marketing. And it's actually only until the last couple of months that I've started to give myself and more importantly, my marketing manager, who is absolutely brilliant, a break and say, okay, let's not view it like that. Let's view that as a bonus, but let's view it as your supporting act, that your role is to make our salespeople perform better. And are you giving them the content? Are you giving them the sales collateral to help them put themselves into the right position? And I think that stance at the moment for us is a more healthy one than the original, like, okay, what's in the marketing sales pot? Because it's ridiculous. Like we had what we call a bluebird. So somebody phones in and says, hey, I'd like you to help me recruit one of these. And someone in the team goes, oh, right, great. How did you find about us? I found you on Google. Okay, great. So we used to say, okay, it's a win to marketing. That all of that fee or all of that money through that customer is through to marketing. I don't actually know if marketing did anything that made that happen. That could have just happened anyway. Like it. So it was. Yeah, I didn't know really how to score it properly. So I think by coming away from scoring it and saying the role is to support the sales team. The other interesting point that talking to the sales team about marketing when we hired our latest marketing manager is that they were so desperate for us to have a better marketing strategy and have a better online. It's when around that time when we did the rebranding and the new website, like the team was so they felt it's so important that they had that support of good quality content going out the door, targeted literature. Yeah, we could do videos, we could do interviews with clients. It's like they just wanted that support. If I took it away tomorrow, there'd be uproar, absolute uproar. So I think I've had to evolve my thinking in saying, okay, well, this is to support this team. It's an investment to support this team. It's not somewhere where I can draw a direct line in the model that we have.
Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting one, because for us personally, I think, you know, the follow-up on this is crucial. So we have a model, so we use the ROAS model, return on ad spend model. So we can even track, like, we can track all the channels, even down to a specific campaign, a kind of creative level, where we know exactly the amount of euros that we put in and what we're getting back in the percentages. So for us, that's been crucial. We spend quite a lot of money on marketing as well. So,
but I guess that is, yeah, you're going after a volume market, like where it's about, right, we've got to be the biggest, brightest star in the sky to attract people to us. And so when I talk, it's interesting because when I talk about marketing, I immediately don't think about the candidate at all. I only think about the client.
Think about clients, yeah.
How do we attract clients? How do I convince more clients to use our service? Because it's almost like if I convince the client to use our service, we'll find the candidates. It's like I've got all the tools and the tech. I'll get to the candidate. Whereas I think some other recruitment businesses, like your own, it's much more of a balanced view of we're trying to market to candidates. We were having the conversation about paid LinkedIn advertising last week or the week before to try and attract clients. And I was like, we're just trying to find people who could give me a strong case study to say, oh yeah, we did paid LinkedIn advertising and we got inbound leads from clients saying we'd like to use your services. And I couldn't find any. Everybody goes back to that whole, well, it's part of your marketing mix. It's you've got to do it alongside everything else and the bigger picture. And then, so I've paused it as I do with many of these marketing ideas, but because I just couldn't draw the line back to that revenue. It's marketing's not. I'm quite traditional in my thinking. Marketing's not that one thing. It is a marketing mix. You've got to do many things to get an end result.
It's really interesting, this discussion, because I mean, we actually don't even do business to business marketing. We only do marketing to candidates. And again, we have the full tracking on there. We can see exactly onto the pennies and cents what it gives. But I think it can be done also for B2B marketing, as long as you kind of get that model up, whatever model you choose, and probably ROAS is a good one for that as well. But yeah, you're very correct. I'm thinking about the candidates rather than the clients.
And the clients, and because that's your USP, isn't it? We've got the candidates. The candidates are coming to us, so why wouldn't you come to us, Mr. Client? Where it's like when we're out selling, I'm selling. Like, I understand the market that you're in. We've got the tools. We've got the network. Give me your project, and I'll go and find the candidates for you. It's the same job, but different way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Our philosophy here was really build it and they will come, because if we have the candidates, the business will come. And so that's been our philosophy. Interesting.
Cool. Okay, should we do this third question? So, should a recruitment business be a retained partner to an organization or stay as a contingent supplier? So I mentioned earlier, we've almost like, we're going to TRN and you meet like hundreds of different businesses in TRN, and there's a big drive to sell more exclusive retained work. We've always sold exclusive retained work, so we've never done anything else, like, since we started the business back in 2001. And so that's in our DNA. It's like I absolutely believe that there's lots of complexity to this, but if you just took one vacancy in one organization and they didn't have an internal recruitment team, the concept of giving that vacancy to one recruiter and giving that recruiter responsibility for that search, as long as they're searching in a market that they know and they understand and they've got some evidence they've done it before, I don't know why you'd give it to more than one. Just give somebody responsibility and they'll go and do a really good job for you. And I've built a whole career based on that philosophy is give me responsibility and I'll tell you if I can't do it. And if I say I can do it, I'll go and get it done for you. And our delivery numbers are, I think, really impressive. Like 70% of the vacancies that we take on, we fill what we call first time. So that's within 2.5 weeks. And 85% we fill altogether. So like it might take us 2 goes. So it might take us 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But 85% of the value of the vacancies coming through the door we're filling in 5 to 6 weeks. And I think most recruitment companies would say, I'll take those stats every day of the week.
Definitely,
and they're really powerful stats to the client as well. The challenge I've got, and I've started a contingent recruitment business in the last 6 months, is that I don't think with the changing landscape of the recruitment market, every organization will buy that style of service because some people have built internal recruitment teams and they don't want to give one recruiter responsibility because whatever dynamic that they've got going on. So purely from a let's make more money perspective, it makes sense for us to have different offerings. It makes sense for us to have a retained offering, and it makes sense for us to have a contingent offering. After running a business for 20 years of doing things one way, I'm terrified about can we do it the other way? And how do we present that to our clients? Because I think it makes the job of the sales person much more complicated when you're saying you could have A or you could have B. Whereas in the past we've had it almost easy because we've got this model, this is what we do. Okay, you don't want to buy that, you want to work with multiple agencies. I wish you all the best, come back to us if it doesn't work, but that's not for us, which is quite powerful. But I think it is limiting in how big and how quickly we can grow.
Makes sense, especially with your numbers. It's an interesting topic, this one. We do both, but what we're doing is that we're incentivizing the retained model with cheaper prices. So we build basically it's a hybrid of a subscription model. So they pay us a monthly fee for typically for a year, or if it's a specific project, maybe for 4 or 5 months, or depending on the circumstances. And then on top of that, we have a placement fee as well. That placement fee is lower than if you go with the contingent model. So we do offer both, but we incentivize the retain model. And I agree with you. I think it is limiting to not sell the contingent model. At the same time, for us as well, like we're looking at that recurring revenue stream, that secured revenue stream, and especially going back to the pandemic, etc. Since then, this has been a very important topic for us to build up that MRR or ARR. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it is limiting, and I guess each and everyone for themselves, but having both options is probably the best way forward.
Yeah. If
you can.
Yeah, if you can get it right, and I think it's really interesting at the moment. What we've done internally is that we've got a different delivery team in contingent recruitment to a different in retained recruitment.
Yeah,
because they work at different speeds. Like the guys in the contingent team are turning shortlists around, or they're getting CVs into the client like it's like a conveyor belt. Whereas in our retained exclusive model, it's like brief us, we'll go and do a search, and then we'll deliver a shortlist. So our delivery guys have got much more time to go and do a really accurate job. So even as a resourcer or a deliverer, they are they're doing the same job, but they're slightly different beasts. And instead of blending the resourcing team and saying, okay, well, some of the jobs you're working on is contingent and some you're working on is exclusive,
Yeah.
We've split it out. One of the selling points when you're selling the exclusive stuff as well is that we've committed to the clients that the resources won't work on more than 4 vacancies. So we can't.
Yeah.
Whereas in a contingent model, you're going to need 10, 12 vacancies and
Exactly.
more to make it work. But
yeah, that's inherently built into that kind of that model, right? That you have to do that. So I guess that also ties into the business development as well, to have enough of those vacancies, right? To have those 10, 12, 14 that you actually need to have in order to run it contingent. And if you have capabilities of acquiring that much business or not.
Yeah. It's that. I mean, that's one of the challenges. So we've just started the contingent business a few months ago. I've been trying to hire a guy for a while to come in and set this up for me. It's been in my head. The idea's been in my head for a while, but I've been waiting for the right person who I think could operate in our business and do it in the right way. And he came in, and it was like literally week 3, he'd got 14 vacancies on. So he's now trying to fill his 14 vacancies, but he's trying to get out there and sell new as well.
Yeah.
And it was really quickly, it was like, it's not one, this is definitely not one person. We thought we might need to hire someone else a little bit further down the line, but we need to bring that now.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's completely ironic. Like, we just had a guy, Sam, join us, and it was like the week before he joined us, Ian had got like 9, 10 vacancies open, and then they filled 2, 3 went away. It was Sam joined. It was like there was 2, and Ian's like, I've got to find some more vacancies. It's much more of a, you've got to keep on the conveyor belt to fill that up.
So that also ties into the earlier question then with 360 or 180, right?
Yeah. So that model that we're talking about there is very much 180 that they've fallen into so far.
Makes sense.
So maybe maybe in our contingent world we will end up much more defined 180. I don't know. That decision hasn't been made yet. We haven't even thought that through properly, I don't think. But we might end up with more of a 180 model in a contingent business, because I think you're right. It's the speed of the way you've got to do both sides is really high. Yeah,
exactly. And you need to keep that pipeline big and always ongoing, kind of.
Yeah. So in your business, like getting that recurring revenue by selling more sticky services, a baseline of income coming in. I'm guessing your market doesn't lend itself to the contract world, or does it? No, it's all permanent hires.
It's all perm. Yeah.
Could there be an opportunity for you? I guess some of your clients, would they be sort of campaign driven? Like, we need X number of resource for this period of time.
Yeah. Some of them would. Depends on really the industry. So I mean, we're not industry specific. We work with the business services sector, iGaming, tourism, etc. So it really depends on the sector or industry. So that's why we're also looking into and closing like retained business based on project or kind of ongoing for the ones that has an ongoing need, which tends to be the BPOs or the shared service centers. Yeah.
Because I've been through a pandemic. I came through the financial crisis as well, 09-ish. And you're absolutely right. The recurring revenue saved us both times. But in our business, it's the contract side of the business, which is our recurring revenue. Because we were very, very lucky in 09. We were working with one of the big supermarkets in the UK who had already committed to doing an ERP transformation right at the start of the financial crisis, and they were into the project. They just kept going, and the supermarkets did okay in the financial crisis. So we ended up with 30 or 40 contractors working on that particular project that just gave us that recurring revenue.
Yeah.
It was like, because all of the permanent stuff just went.
Yeah, I remember that, when the pandemic hit, and, it's one thing that everyone was stamping on the brakes. Well, we do relocation recruitment. So even logistically, we could not do recruitment because for example, in Malta, they closed down the airport for 4 months.
Yeah.
So it wasn't logistically possible to place someone, even though we had clients that had.
There was some demand, but you can't move anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that was
challenging. challenging time, really
Yeah.
challenging time.
Oh.
Yeah. So going on to that back to that AI thing, have you seen any sort of dehumanization of the recruitment process? Have you seen any instances where there's opportunity to take people out of the process?
I think so to some extent. We leverage quite a lot of technology in the business. And one of the problems that we've had was that we realized that it dehumanized parts of the recruitment process. But I think it's a lot about execution and the tools that you're using. So it doesn't necessarily have to. But it is important to kind of test and iterate and having that at the back of your mind when you are testing and going through the funnels.
I on the other side of it, I received an email, obviously in some email campaign, and it was like I received that person's whole campaign in the space of about 4 minutes.
Yeah,
it was like a email arrived, and then another email arrived saying, "Just getting this to the top of your inbox." I'm like, you're only one email below. It's like, so somebody had got clumsy use of the technology. I think that like you say, you've got to be careful of how you're using it. But like, there's one of the guys in my team has now put 1,000 opportunities into his source whale campaign, and if you went back to just doing that one by one, like that would have taken him
that's
forever, absolutely forever to do that. It's a little bit terrifying that these emails are just going out and it's just happening. You're trusting that the tech works. In fact, he had one the other day where it's made him / us look a little bit silly because they copy and pasted a URL for a landing page that they were trying to push clients to go to a landing page and then download a document, and they put the URL into the email machine, and it did when they sent the process, it did something to the email and changed the URL very slightly, which made it go nowhere. It went from when they tested it like it all worked, they sent emails out, so they changed it, resent the email out saying, "I'm really sorry, I've just sent you something with a broken link," and the link didn't work again. So it was like bad and then really bad. So I think you've got to be careful with this.
You need to evaluate, test, and be quickly on it, because things like that can happen. I had a similar thing. I used a LinkedIn automation tool, and it was just basically I put in a code to include the name of the person, but it didn't include the name. It included the code, right? Fortunately, I tested it to 5 people, so it wasn't at scale. But you test and evaluate.
You've got to be careful. I don't know about you. I get approached. I don't know. It's not daily, but it's multiple times a week by different organizations selling tech into the recruitment sector. And say, I've been doing this a long time, and 10 years ago that just was not the case. It's really complicated market to know what to choose, when to choose. And I as a business owner, I don't think I'm very good actually at buying tech. It's like someone tells me a shiny story and it's like, oh, brilliant, great. So you can go out and buy all this tech, but I think the lesson that we've learned is landing it, adopting it, training it, making sure people continue to use it because it's shiny today, not tomorrow. Like, that's an art. Getting that right is a real art. One of the guys on my team said actually that he said, like, rather than just buying it, we should write a business case. If someone approached us with an idea, it's actually, let's take a step back. Let's write a proper business case, like a company would if they were a big company would if they were implementing software. So I think one of the things we've got to learn to do better is actually analyze and adopt and work out what it's going to do for us and measure it properly.
Agree 100%. And one of the things that happened to me as well is just like respecting the time to spend on that, right? So you need to implement the tool, and you need to execute on it, and you need to follow up, and you need to evaluate, etc. Because I mean, it sounds great when you're getting that pitch.
Yeah, there's the other thing I've seen a few products coming onto the market where it seems very disparate. If I look at our tech stack, it's very disparate now. It's this product, that links to this product, this. There's probably 8 or 9 different tech products that are all having to talk to each other in some way. But I've seen a few come into the market now where they're selling, we can bring this all into one platform for you.
Yeah.
So I think there are organizations who are starting to consolidate into one place. And then so Bullhorn were really early into this world, and they were calling it a marketplace, isn't it? So you can buy Bullhorn, and then you're plugging in anything and everything you want to.
Yeah.
Whereas I think maybe the direction of travel is, like, we'll give you a platform that does it all from one area. So maybe it's going to simplify again.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the things that we've learned throughout the last couple of years is to try to limit the environments that we're working in. Jumping in and out of tools, it just doesn't make sense, right? We've used quite a lot of you know Zapier. Yeah, so we built quite a lot of integrations via Zapier to, for example, the ATS or the CRM that we're using. It's been working pretty well.
I think our marketing manager wanted to implement Zapier between a couple of things that we were using, but we then changed strategy on something, so didn't use that. But I say it's a really. I used to be a recruiter. I don't feel like some sort of tech analyst now, because it's changing. Very quickly.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So I think we're about an hour. Anything else on that list you wanted to cover, or any points you don't think we've covered?
I think, a quick one then. Just your take on will technology replace the jobs of recruiters?
Oh, blimey, yeah. I think it will push recruitment companies, and we're already seeing it push recruitment companies up the value chain. And I think we've got to add more value. We've got to add more intelligence to what we're doing. I think that my personal opinion is right now, and for the short-term foreseeable future, tech's not good enough to do all of the thinking. It's still very much a people business. It's about reading people. We train our guys really, really hard, and we talk to them lots about candidate management and client management, right? Like, so what are they saying, and are you properly listening to what they're saying? Because it's anybody can say something to you, but it's the context of that. It's the subcontext. It's what they've done previously will give you the context. And I don't think the technology is there to help with that. So I think that if anything, the market will contract, because I think that some recruiters will struggle where they've just been very, very, very transactional. And I think that we'll all be forced up the value chain more. I think, but who knows?
I agree. I think we'll basically leverage more technology, but what that will do is just to enable us to focus more on the human-to-human kind of parts of the recruitment job. That's not going to go away.
No, and we both work in an industry. I think particularly in the UK, I don't know so much about in Europe, but in the UK, recruiters have got a terrible name still. Like, it's an industry which comes with a label. It's like I go to the pub, and I'm normally a doctor in the pub or something else. Because people, you say you're a recruiter, they're only interested in talking to you when they need a job. So like, years ago, the recruitment industry was much worse, and it was much more transactional in its nature, and it attracted people who were just very, very money driven. And I think the recruitment industry has modernized and transformed lots and lots and lots over the years. And I think this is AI and technology, I think, is another challenge for us, but it
Yeah.
pushes the industry in the right direction. It pushes
Yeah.
into being a more consultative, value add, human organization where we need to add more value than just putting two things together.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That'd be my take.
It's not the same in Europe, I'd say. I'd say that label is on sales jobs and salespeople, but not
Right.
on recruiters and recruitment businesses. I think it's actually the opposite. I think it's something that's looked at as a very positive thing. We have a social impact. We're helping people to pursue their dreams, whatever they are, right?
That's really
careers.
interesting.
So yeah, it's
It's
very
really
different.
interesting. I think the UK was one of the first recruitment markets. From what I understand, it's like recruitment was founded in the UK, or developed in the UK, but it was very much developed in a highly sales-driven culture and environment. It was like when I first started, there was a team in the business that we worked in that basically stood by the fax machine with a pile of CVs, faxed CVs to an organization, and then just stood there with the phone, phoning up. You've got the CVs, you've got the CVs.
Yeah.
Like it was a proper sales job. And I think we're much more now a services industry. And it's changed a lot. I'm moving to Europe. I've always wanted to move to Europe.
Come to Spain.
Yeah.
I live in Malaga now since 6 weeks ago. We opened up a new office here in Malaga, Spain, and the only regret that I have is that I didn't do it sooner.
Really?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. We're 25 degrees out today.
Was it your brother, your business partner?
Yes.
And he's back in Sweden still?
He's in Sweden, yeah. I spoke with him earlier this morning, and apparently it was 4 degrees this morning and rain.
And it's only getting colder for him.
Exactly, yeah. So I can definitely recommend it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'd like to live in a warmer climate. I think I definitely would. It's puts a smile on your face.
Yeah, and people don't frown upon your occupation in Spain either, right?
Yeah,
you have that as an added value.
I can go to the pub and actually be myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can do a siesta, and you can eat tapas. Right, I'm on the way.
Nice one.
Brilliant. Oh, this was good fun.
Very good fun, Paul. I feel like we can talk for hours here, but I guess we are running out of time.
Cool. So I don't know how they wrap these things up, but no, it's been fun. Hopefully we've said some stuff that somebody listens to and says, that's interesting. If anybody is listening, if anybody listens and wants to ask a question or two,
then us listening on repeat on this one, maybe.
Reach out. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Big Red Recruitment, Paul Miles. So I'm on Big Red, Paul Miles.
Yeah, same here. I'm on LinkedIn, Filip Nilsson, Workwide. So feel free to connect. And Paul, I'll catch you in Spain then.
See you soon.
See you soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.